This is your hometown news leader, WDBJ 7.
Here's my house. Yeah, welcome.
When I heard about this, I could not believe it. It's bad.
I literally just sat at the end of the stairs and I was just like, Lord, please, don't take my home, don't take me.
The devastation is incredible. You start to see the homes, and then it progressively gets worse, and then you just see foundations.
Our thoughts are with those who, and the families of those who have been injured and who have been killed by this tornado and have had property damage.
This is WDBJ 7 at 6, everyone. I'm Chris Hurst.
And I'm Jean Jadhan, surveying the damage from the air. Now at 6, we are getting a look at the widespread destruction that a deadly tornado in Appomattox County left behind.
Take a closer look and you can see houses reduced to rubble. The National Weather Service confirmed the tornado that touched down in the Evergreen area was an EF3. Also today, we learned the name of the man who died in Appomattox County. Edward Harris was 78 years old. State police say his wife was one of 7 others who were also injured there. 2 of those people are still in the hospital tonight.
Everyone in Appomattox is accounted for. That is according to the county administrator.
She asks people to stay home and avoid going out, especially in the most affected areas.
WDBJ 7's Tim Saunders has been surveying the damage. Tim, what are you seeing today?
Well, Jean and Chris, a lot of people here in Appomattox County are still just trying to wrap their head around what happened yesterday and begin the recovery process. I visited the Promised Land community today, where cleaning up was a team effort. 123 years of history were destroyed in a matter of seconds Wednesday afternoon as heavy winds tore apart Central Baptist Church in southern Appomattox County.
It's devastating, Even if they rebuild, it's still not going to be the same church.
A steeple that was perched atop the roof now sits in ruin about a quarter-mile away. The church's brick facade was peeled away. Stained glass windows are mangled and twisted.
It's just part of your life is gone. You just get all kinds of memories here, and they're gone.
Central Baptist is an example of both the devastation in Appomattox County and the community's determination to persevere. Members of the Appomattox County High School football team showed up at the church early Thursday morning to help clean up.
All of our kids volunteered and said, hey, Coach, come pick us up, come get us, or where can we meet to help?
The team rallied behind one of their own, Drew Mann, a football player with a lot of ties to the church.
My mom and dad got married in this church, and I grew up here when I was younger, and it's devastating to see what happened to this place, so I need to help out.
When they weren't cleaning, football players held up signs asking for donations to help the community. The Promised Land area is just one corner of the county where Wednesday's tornado left a trail of damage. Behind Central Baptist, a number of large headstones were knocked over. Like every other part of the neighborhood, they're slowly getting put back in place.
Oh, this is awesome. I never expected these many people to come out and help a small church like this. It's a great community, great group of guys right here.
All of the roads here in Appomattox County are back open now, but they remain dangerous with loose debris and downed power lines. A few scattered businesses here in Appomattox County, or in the town of Appomattox rather, do have electricity now, and 2 pharmacies have reopened, the CVS and Hometown Pharmacy. Schools in Appomattox County will remain closed tomorrow. Live in Appomattox, Tim Saunders, WDBJ 7.
Governor McAuliffe promises to do anything he can to help victims affected by this deadly storm. He toured some of the hardest hit areas today by helicopter. He also had a chance to see the destruction firsthand on the ground. WDBJ 7's Shane Dwyer is also in Appomattox tonight. Shane, you got to walk with the governor as he surveyed the damage. What did you observe?
Chris, to us, it seemed like he was truly in a sense of disbelief and seemed like he truly hurt for the victims here in Appomattox County. He was walking through rubble, down trees, people's lives just scattered throughout the farm side. He was joined by some victims as well as police and county officials in Evergreen. This is one of the central areas that was hit very hard. Very few people escaped without some damage. The governor was one of the first to see the damage from the air because of the strong wind conditions. This is how he described the damage in his own words.
Literally gigantic trees just snapped in half. And it goes for 12 to 15 miles, which I was just amazed at the length and the width of this tornado that struck here. But as you go along, and then you'll see structures totally gone, but you will see just gigantic areas of trees just snapped in half, gigantic trees just laying on the ground.
The governor left a short time later for another part of the state. Here in Appomattox, the cleanup continued, and there is no shortage of people helping. McAuliffe says Virginia will be applying for federal aid to help the victims of this storm. Live in Appomattox, Shane Dwyer, WDBJ 7.
And at this time yesterday, we were looking at the maps. We were looking at the weather maps, watching just storms racing up from the south at 60, 70 miles an hour. And when all was said and done, Appomattox right here through Evergreen, this is the path of the confirmed EF3 tornado, something that's never occurred in Appomattox before. 400 yards wide with top winds of 160 miles an hour. Meanwhile, in Patrick County, another tornado was in play. It was about a half-mile wide. Fortunately, it wasn't quite as strong, with top winds of 105 miles an hour. And so, as it turned out, a very dramatic February tornadic day in Virginia. And a couple of schools have altered their schedules, and one of them is because of the tornado damage in Appomattox County schools. They're going to be closed tomorrow. The Central Virginia Community College, the Appomattox Center, will be closed, and Tazewell County is now dealing with wintry type precipitation. They're going to be going 2 hours late tomorrow.
As our meteorologists were alerting those in the tornado's path, a mother in Evergreen was listening. Chief Meteorologist Brent Watts talked with her today and has her amazing story. Brent.
And Gene, it's always amazing to hear these survival stories in these tragic events. And I managed to speak to a lady. Her name was Sharanda Toddy, and she was digging through the debris, obviously still shaken and still in shock. But she wanted to tell me the amazing story of how she got her one-year-old child to safety just minutes before the storm hit.
Within literally a blink of an eye, my walls were gone, and so I tucked underneath that mattress and held my baby girl really tight, just I said, God, please no, no, no.
She had just put her one-year-old baby girl down for a nap when she got the tornado warning on her phone.
I actually did have WDBJ7 weather app, and I knew that it was coming. I knew that it was there. It's just, you didn't think that it was coming this way.
But it did. She went right into action, racing to the basement and hid under an old mattress that was supposed to be thrown away.
We were getting ready to take it to the dump, and we didn't. That's the only thing that saved me. You can see the sewer pipe literally almost got us. Yeah. It's just amazing.
Her home unrecognizable, and everything she owns now across the street. Like many others who survived this tornado, she said God had to be watching over the community of Evergreen.
It's amazing that all this wind picked up everything, but didn't pick up a lousy old mattress.
And there's so many people that managed to save their lives by seeking shelter and doing exactly what we're telling you to do during our cut-ins. And I want to show you this. This is a tree, a huge tree that fell on this car here, just one of many of the cars that have been damaged in this area. And just a few minutes ago, some of the folks were looking through the debris, and in the distance you can see it's an American flag that they pulled out of the debris and managed to hang it back up. Just, again, so many stories coming from out of Evergreen and across the state during this tornado outbreak, Gene.
Stories of the community coming together. Brent, hearing that woman who survived, her story just gave me a chill. Just an amazing story of survival. And even if your phone is turned off, if you have that weather alert, it will go off and let you know. So it's such a good thing to have, Brent. Thank you.
Yes.
If you live in Appomattox County, a helpline has been established to provide updated resource information. That number is 434-352-2637. The National Weather Service confirmed a tornado also touched down in Patrick County. It was an EF1. A tornado was on the ground for nearly 2 miles and crossed Ararat Highway, where the damage continued. VDOT crews spent last night and today trying to clear the road of fallen trees. Those in the area told us as soon as the tornado hit, it was a team effort to clean up. Several homes are damaged. One had its roof completely torn off. You can see what was in their attic is still sitting up there almost untouched. Officials say everyone displaced has a safe place to stay and no one was hurt. The Patrick County Sheriff's Office will have a strong presence in the area for the rest of the week.
New at 6. Hundreds of people in the New River Valley are now out of a job as a result of the layoffs at Volvo. Tonight, how the community is offering a helping hand to those in need. About 600 people are newly unemployed in the New River Valley. Volvo laid them off this month. That's about 22% of the 2,800 workers the company had before the layoffs at the Dublin plant. To the community, it's a big blow. WDBJ7's Justin Ward shows us how their neighbors are giving them a helping hand in tonight's special report.
At the New River Community Action Office in Pulaski.
Thank you for calling New River Community Action. This is Sarah.
Sarah Gray and her staff are helping people who have found themselves in a tough financial bind.
I do emergency assistance, food pantry, and housing counseling. We're here when they need us.
Recently, it seems more people call, needing urgent help. Gray is expecting the next few weeks to be busy.
There's not too many people in Pulaski County who don't know or are related to somebody who works at Volvo. So it's something that hits close to home.
Her staff was prepared when the announcement came December 1st. Hundreds of people would lose their jobs. The town is no stranger to massive layoffs. It's happened many times before. In this community, it's not a question of if, but when. The Rapid Response Team at New River Community College started aligning area businesses who are hunting for workers as soon as the announcement came from Volvo. It's Becky Cox's job to connect people laid off in 34 counties and cities with new careers.
And that is the goal, to put them back to work in businesses and high demand occupations where they can earn a sustainable wage.
The federally funded program helps businesses with the layoffs and the people affected ease the transition between jobs and training for new work. A week ago, she partnered with Virginia Workforce for this job fair in Dublin, only for those laid off Volvo workers. Chris Pender was there to sign people up for commercial driver's license training.
These are people that, were generating a paycheck, providing for their family, and now they're going through a struggle. And so, that's what we're here to do is help them, gain employment.
Help to find work doesn't end there. You can find a link on WDBJ7.com to this rapid response website, a one-stop shop specifically for the former Volvo workers. It provides resources like resume workshops and connections with career professionals. While this team helps with long-term goals, New River Community Action is helping those laid off overcome short-term emergencies like paying for rent.
And also reaching out to them as far as their utility costs or, any medical expenses.
The fast response from organizations like this one in the New River Valley is keeping people out of the unemployment line for long.
Offering a helping hand as best we can. And the beauty of being in Pulaski County is people in Pulaski County just want to help.
In Pulaski County, Justin Ward, WDBJ7.
Legislation that would let homeschool students participate in public sports has made it through the House of Delegates and State Senate. Now supporters of the Tebow bill hope to persuade the governor to sign it. Named for the NFL quarterback Tim Tebow, who was homeschooled, the bill passed both houses last year too, but McCullough vetoed the legislation. He said it creates a double standard. Today's sponsors of the bill encouraged homeschool students and their families to write the governor with the hope he will have a change of heart.
Volunteers gave a little TLC to Mill Mountain today. Last week's storm knocked down several trees in trailways and streets. Cleanup crews say blocked roads could be dangerous for hikers, bikers, and drivers. The group works 4 to 5 hours cleaning parks and other outdoor facilities every Thursday.
Maintaining the high quality trails that we have is really important for citizens, tourists, and people who may be interested in moving to Roanoke.
Their next project, cleaning Carbons Cove on March 10th.
All right, so the wind you can feel. The
Yes.
snow, though, the advisory for that in effect. Meteorologist Robin Reed is breaking that down for us.
You can just see those flurries flying by in our neck of the woods, Chris, but in the mountains it's a whole different story. Maybe a couple of inches of accumulation there. Danville's data is not in because the connection with the Danville Regional Airport is not working at this time. Roanoke, however, got up to 45 and a low of 38. Lynchburg at 47. Blacksburg could make it out of the 30s today and had some snow showers off and on throughout the day. A day after tornadic storms, we were still seeing very interesting cloud formations. This from Radford High School, and fast-moving winds. That part of the equation did not change. What did is there was no twisting in this wind. These are straight line coming right out of the northwest, bringing with it snow showers, snow flurries, cold air, and 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Right now, out of the west at 18 miles an hour, our live data shows us 34 degrees. And of course, it feels a lot colder than that when you've got a big wind. weekend feels like it's in the 20s. Please do bundle up tonight and tomorrow, as these temperatures are not going to go up a whole bunch. We've dropped to 28 at Ingalls Field, 39 in Lexington, and 40 degrees in Lynchburg. Snow showers are working their way across the mountains, just not having any effect, at least once it gets into the Roanoke Valley, stretching up to 81 into Lexington. Not a big deal, but still some significant blowing snow back to the west. And you can see it pretty clearly on the Doppler radar motion. It kind of stops in West Virginia, even the mountains of North Carolina, around Boone, looking at some light snow accumulations. But mainly this low area that's up here is just so windy, and the gusty winds and the blowing snow an issue for western New York and western Pennsylvania. A little bit of additional blowing snow in the ski resorts. That's always welcome, of course, and a temperature cool down, which they're going to have for a couple of days. But when you see the 7-day, it's going to be kind of interesting what happens. It jumps pretty quickly. No big storms over the East Coast right now, not like last night. Things have settled down pretty nicely. So let's get you through tonight with some gusty winds, some mountain flurries. 22 Bluefield, 29 Martinsville, 27 degrees in Lexington. Most areas will have partly cloudy skies, and just the wind is the issue. Not so much Arctic wind, just a lot of it. As you can see, the daytime highs tomorrow will be chilly, but appropriately chilly, maybe a little bit below normal, but not too bad. Most of the country in the 50s and the 60s. Our forecast model just hugs the snow showers nearby, doesn't really get them into Roanoke, certainly not Lynchburg and Southside. You're going to be probably partly cloudy, but you're going to be just as windy as everybody else. As we look at the highs, we see 44 in Lynchburg, 47 in Danville, but only 34 in Galax and 33 degrees in Lewisburg. Remember I mentioned that there was something interesting going on with the temperatures that happens as early as Sunday, as we go from 42 tomorrow to 46 on Saturday. Not a bad way to start the weekend, but a little bit on the breezy side. Bingo! Sunday, a mix of sun and clouds and 60 degrees. Let's do that again on Monday. Oh, I like the way that sets up. Tuesday, Wednesday, we start to transition into our next front. That front will have some showers for us by Wednesday, 50-50, maybe even a thunderstorm. But the bottom line is we're going to go from cold to warm fast. And that's good news for people that have to be outside cleaning up, whatever. The weekend, not as windy and a little bit more comfortable.
All right, thank you, Robin. Yeah, much needed. Thanks, Robin. Here is Travis. What's going on? A little basketball.
Not quite March. Already talking some madness, though. We'll update the ODAC women's quarterfinals from Salem and preview the men's quarters, which takes center stage tomorrow. Plus, the Hokies could lose cornerback Brandon Faison for all of spring practice with an injury.
We have finally made it to Friday, and coming up on WDBJ 7 Morning, we've got your weekend planner with everything for the whole family.
And we've got your snow report and our Free Ride Friday segment. We'll tell you where the best skiing and snowboarding is.
And join us tomorrow starting at 5 a.m.
Sports from your hometown news leader, WDBJ 7.
We start tonight with football news from Blacksburg, where Hokies cornerback Brandon Faison could miss all of spring practice after injuring his knee during the team's off-season conditioning program. Faison was a freshman All-American, recording 5 interceptions 3 years ago, but he hasn't had one since. The Georgia native suffered a stress reaction in his leg, which shortened his spring as a sophomore and eventually led him to take a redshirt year. He started 10 games for the Hokies this past season and is one of the most experienced returners in the secondary. The ODAC women's basketball quarterfinals are underway at the Salem Civic Center, where Lynchburg and Washington and Lee won the early games. As for the men, their quarterfinal games tip off tomorrow afternoon. The competition in the conference is as tight as ever this season for the guys, with Lynchburg taking the top seed, followed by Virginia Wesleyan, Roanoke College, and Guilford. All 4 of those teams got a first-round bye, and no one is looking at an easy matchup Friday night.
I think there's 8 teams that can win this title that are into it. I mean, it's funny, 5, 6, 7, and 8, we're all 8-8. So, you know, we had, 8 teams that had winning records in the ODAC. It was very competitive all season long. You see Virginia Wesleyan and Lynchburg 1 game ahead of us, but they still had 4 losses apiece in the league. So it's going to be a tremendous tournament. It's going to be the most parity I've seen in ODAC tournaments since I've gotten in the league probably 27 years ago.
Spring training is off and running for big league clubs in both Arizona and Florida. The Washington Nationals held their first full squad workout yesterday along the Space Coast in Vieira, Florida. With the reigning National League MVP Bryce Harper and a new manager in Dusty Baker, expectations are high for the Nats after they failed to reach the playoffs a season ago. The first week of the spring has been a feeling out process for Dusty and the players as they get to know one another.
It takes a long time, and sometimes you still don't know. You know, the real person takes a while. A lot of times, especially in that first year, kind of everybody's on their best behavior. You know what I mean? And then the second and third year, it gets, you know, they know you and you know them, but they've made an effort. I mean, they've really made an effort to, you know, to know me.
How would it be in Florida right now? Be a good place to be today.
It would be a good place to be today.
My whole family's in Florida right now.
What are you doing
They're
here?
rubbing it in.
Jeez.
Being here with you.
Oh,
I like hanging with you, Gene.
Thanks for hanging out with
Travis,
us.
too. The market saw a day of gains on Wall Street. The Dow climbed 212 points. NASDAQ up 40, S&P up 22.
So we got a couple adjustments to the school schedule tomorrow, and it's unusual in the fact that Appomattox is going to shut down because there's not a lot of power in the county, and it would be safer. And then Tazewell's doing the normal winter thing. They're opening 2 hours late because they've got blowing snow down there. So kind of all over the board as to why schools are adjusting schedules tomorrow. I promise you the second half of the weekend, maybe a 60-degree day. And then, you know, after that, we kind of transition back into unsettled weather. So we've had a lot of change here in the last few days.
That's the amazing thing. You know, when these powerful systems move in, we were chilly yesterday, and then it got real warm as the front was coming in. And then after that, the winds changed direction. It's mighty cold out there. Snow flurries.
Strange, the changes.
Yeah.
Really warm to cold.
Bundle
We
up.
want to thank you for choosing your hometown news leader, WDBJ 7. Good night.